Hey, how's it going there? Troy with Big BB LLC. I just want to take a few minutes and sit down and talk about the art of gunsmithing. Alright? I don't care how many people I meet or where I go. But usually when people find out what I do and the kind of business I run, I either get one of two responses. Oh, my buddy works on guns. Really? Is he a gunsmith? No, he just kind of does it on the side. Oh, okay, cool. Or, hey, I fix guns too. Not as a gunsmith, but, I dabble a little bit for, friends and stuff. And every time I get a gun in for gunsmithing, the story is the same thing every time. It's either A, I bought it like this. And a lot of this stuff, I'm going to be honest with you, I'd look at it and go, you actually paid money for that? You're going to pay me more to fix it. Or the other one that I'm more fond of and that I get most often is, well, I took it to a buddy of mine who knows about guns, right? That buddy. They know about guns. And when I look at it and I dive down into it, I'm like, well, if he knew about guns, then he should know enough not to touch them anymore. I can't believe that people are willing to risk their face and their hands to save a couple of bucks because their buddy knows about guns. Alright? This isn't like a car where if your mechanic buddy gets it wrong, you're stuck walking home or needing a tow truck or spending, money on a engine or whatever, right? This is more one of those things where when you look at the worst case scenario, you can blow your face or your hands off. So if you're one of those people that know about guns, are you willing to risk that kind of liability? And if you're one of those people that takes your guns to people that knows about guns, are you willing to put your face and your hands in the hands of that person who knows about guns because you were too cheap to take it to an actual gunsmith? And so the way I look at it is paying the actual gunsmith, yeah, it is going to be a little bit more. But you're paying for that peace of mind that it was done right. And we do it right because we've accepted the legal ramifications of getting it wrong, which is why our insurance is ungodly. Alright? And then the last thing I want to do is I actually want to show you some things that have come through my shop. And none of these things right here are really detrimental, as in they're going to blow your face off if you use these again. But they came into my shop because somebody knew about guns, and now the guns don't work. Right? And it happens that way all the time. I had a 22 come in here one time. This is a flat-bladed firing pin. That's all that was wrong with it. The firing pin was broke. Right? This is supposed to be flat all the way across. It's supposed to be square. So you could see, I hope you can see, right here. It wasn't connecting, it was broke, but you got this little nib here, so once in a while it might connect and it might go off. So tell me, for a broken firing pin, why did, say, buddy that knows about guns have to take after the chamber with a coarse round file? And that's a guess. I'm guessing that's what they used. Because that looks horrendous. And what actually happens is the shell gets stuck in there. And so they just kind of roughed up the chamber, and now you got other problems. Now not only is it not firing all the time, now the rounds are getting stuck. And I had to replace this barrel. There's no saving this. There was none. If I ream this out, then it would have opened the chamber too wide to be safe to shoot. Alright? So that's one example. Here's another one I got in where a gun was double feeding or it wasn't extracting all the time. And so one of the first things I did is, I push on the extractor and I'm like, oh my god, the extractor is way too loose. It shouldn't have that much move with so little pressure. And so when I took it out, and I hope you could tell the difference, here's the extractor spring that I took out. Hope you could see that. And I'm barely holding on to that very last coil. Here's the one that should have went in it. Almost double the length. Right? But your buddy apparently knew about guns, and apparently spring pressure doesn't really matter, does it? Here's a good one right here. This was a homemade piece that went into a lever action 22. This is made out of some cheap steel, I guess, or maybe some roofing tin or something, I don't know. One of the issues with this right here is, you see this hole right here? It's supposed to have a slot that goes over and down, kind of an L shape. Because what it does is this thing pivots and it moves because the bolt comes back and forth. So this thing has to pivot and move. Well, what happened is, by drilling a hole instead of giving it a channel to move, you ended up breaking the lever and the receiver, because there was nowhere for it to go. So when they ratchet down on that handle, it just broke everything. But apparently the guy that made this knew about guns. Alright? And here's another one I just got in. This is a 12 gauge shotgun barrel. They took it to their friend that knew about guns to port the barrel. Let me see if you could see those holes right there. Look at how shitty that looks. Would you honestly pay money for that? Same thing on the other side. Look, you would really pay money for that? Or let your friend do it for free because they know about guns? Listen, I get it. Gunsmithing isn't cheap. But when you look at the worst case scenario, when shit goes wrong, because you want to save a few bucks, you're literally putting your face and your hands on the line. And if you're one of those people that does this for other people without knowing what the hell you're doing, just stop. Alright? This isn't like what if that guy, he does actually hurt himself? Are you in a spot, a financial spot, to put your family and your finances to the test if that other guy decides to sue you for damages done to his face or his hands if shit goes wrong? Right? There's a reason we exist, and there's a reason we charge what we do, and there's a reason that insurance charges what we do. Right? We are the guys that will ensure that we get it done, and we get it done right. I will not let a gun leave this house to leave my shop unless it is done right. And that's what you're paying for. You're paying so it gets done right. This kind of stuff is just unacceptable, because what could have been a $30 or $40 fix turned into almost a $250 fix. How much did your buddy charge you to make this piece? How much did you really save paying me $250 to make all this good again? So that's I guess that's what I'm trying to say is, look at that worst case scenario of what can happen, and ask yourself, are you willing to accept that risk? If you are, then you keep doing what you do, because those guys that know about guns turn other people into my best paying customers. Those YouTube gunsmiths, they turn into some of my best customers as well. Well, not some of my best, some of my most highest paying customers. Let's put it that way. Because, like I said, there's no substitute to getting this right the first time. It's not as quick as you'd like it to be sometimes. It's not as cheap as you'd like it to be sometimes. But it's done right. There's a theme occurring here, right? Alright. Anyway, I just thought I'd come out here, show you this stuff, talk about why I feel the way I do and what I see when people bring me stuff for gunsmithing. And hopefully that kind of enlightens you and opens your eyes a little bit to why we charge what we do. Alright? So until then, stay safe, shoot straight. I'm out.